Arming orbital ret-cannon. Players have just gotten off a trade in Switzerland.
Yes.
I'm going to be starting the recording there.
Welcome to the retcon.
Yep.
What's a ret-cannon?
Exactly. Anyway, welcome back to the town of Lausanne.
How is that spelled?
Lausanne.
Lausanne.
Lausanne. Okay. We have a pretty nice breakfast at a little cafe at the South Station. And you usually find the directions to the man who sent the letter, which is at the Wellington Phil's 50 Rue Street, Etoinette. You can make your way there, and the sign beside the door says that it's open in several languages, but the door is closed.
Oh, open the door.
You tried to, but it's locked. And then you hear a rustling from inside, and a man hurriedly opens it up. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just stuffing an animal at the moment. Come on in. I'm Mr. Edgar Wellington.
This is a joke.
Anyway, as he opens the door, a big waft of cigarette smoke comes out from the door.
Nothing new, nothing new.
You make your way through, and walls upon walls of stuffed animals look down on you with little pearlescent eyes. He said, are you a customer? I have much in stock at the moment. I'll also have a deer up pretty soon.
Interesting. We're actually here regarding a letter you sent to a family of friends of mine.
Oh, the Lorraines! Yes, it was a while ago that I sent that letter.
Yes, well, they had to take a fair amount of time getting settled into their new residence. There were some problems with some sort of zoning issue they had to deal with first. Anyway, that was all resolved.
I'll make some tea. And we'll talk this over. We have much to discuss.
Damn tea. Irishman always wants his tea.
He leads you into the living room. Looks like he already has a set of it going. And as you all take your seats, a door from the other side of the room opens up, and another man walks out. Looks like Edgar, but a little younger. He's got a hat on and whiskers. And although his eyes blink, his eyes don't move. In fact, in order to see all of you, he has to actually turn his head to you. And he says nothing and sits down at a chair beside Edgar. And Edgar takes a puff of his cigarette. Oh, that's my brother, William. Sorry, the war made him mute. And he's a bit dependent at the moment. But yes, I was studying a scroll that I'd gotten while I was in the war. And it seemed to hint at an artifact. So I was hoping to contact the Lorraines to see if they found any evidence of said artifact.
We'll just wait for someone to finish writing.
You guys have the capacity of speech as well, you know.
Well, yes, they have a lovely place, and we actually were able to find like an area underground, but all we really found were dead skeletons.
Yes, apparently the former owner had a villa there and was in the habit of trapping people in a dungeon and murdering them. Something of an unpleasant figure.
You know what they say about the French?
Many things.
I guess this is a new thing to add to the list.
I don't know if you could really add that to the list of all French people.
Well, sir, I am.
A guy.
I'm just thankful I'm Belgian and don't need to take offense at this.
Anyway,
The important thing is he went to an asylum and probably died.
Probably. We actually never figured out if he actually died or not.
That's true.
Although,
Many, many, many years, so if anything, old age catches up to you.
Yeah, that's it.
yes,
I'm sure he's
incredibly
totally dead.
Yes, it's not like, these cultists have figured out the elixir of life or anything.
no such thing. It's not on page 250.
Just right above where it says shotgun ambush.
Anyway, it looks like my research has hit a dead end, and there's not much I can do with the scroll. I'll be happily willing to sell it to you for 250 pounds sterling.
Whatever. That's not important.
Yeah, I'm getting a sense of deja vu too.
Yeah, it's weird. Although that guy wasn't here before. Can I take a look at that guy, actually?
Sure.
Is he moving at all weirdly? Does he have like a jerky kind of or anything like that?
Not really. Just his eyeballs can't move.
Could I go with psychology and figure out if that's actually like a trait of shell shock?
Sure.
Yes, 1,000 yard stare. 1,000 yard
Success.
stare.
Okay.
29 out of 60.
What you know is that it takes more than shell shock to do that.
Yeah, thought so.
Do you have any kind of medicine skill?
I have it at base.
I have some medicine skill.
No? Roll if you want.
Nope.
99.
I got ot 6.
Okay. Although his cap hides it, from the edges of the cap and just down, you notice that there's a distinct misshapeness to his skull. Perhaps he's had a plate in. Probably some brain damage from debris or something. But all in all, he seems normal. He has himself a cup of tea. He scrolls little notes like, how is the weather? Pleasant day. All in all, he's nice, except mute, and has to turn his head to look at you.
So he actually writes down notes to speak with people?
Yes.
Agnes gets along famously very quickly.
Instead of passing notes, you just swap notebooks.
He just. Hey, well, I was hoping. We were worried because when we were exploring around in the basement, there was another tunnel that had dug down into it. Given that nothing else of any apparent value or utility was in there, we're working under the assumption that someone dug in and emptied the place out.
What a shame. I mean,
Currently, we're in the hopes that we can track them down, because, of course, I'd like to know who robbed my friend of potentially a valuable antiquities find.
the scroll might be of help, but I think I'm going to bow out of this. I spent a few years trying to translate the scroll, and I only got a partial translation of it.
Any notes you had would, of course, be very helpful, too.
Well, you know what? I'll throw in the notes for free.
You said you found this, or do you happen to know where you found it?
Oh, no, I didn't find it. I traded it off a French soldier. He wanted some rations and a pack of smokes, and I had tons of smokes. And you know what? That scroll was pretty to look at.
Do you know the name of this French soldier?
Not at all. It's been a long time. And really, my age is starting to catch up with me.
So it was 200, right?
What?
It was 200 sterling, right?
250 pounds sterling.
Let's not start that again.
Right. Well,
You could try to haggle him. Maybe you'll roll better this time.
How does 200 sound to you?
I'm sorry, but this is an ancient artifact.
I rolled a 1.
Hot one. Damn.
For 150.
Throw in some
Put
liquor.
a check. Just as you make this offer, the bell on the front door rings, and your footsteps.
I'll head over and take a look.
Edgar gets up and welcomes the guest, and it's a large man with a waxed mustache and a great coat.
Large as in tall or as in wide?
Wide. He looks dressed like his mayor. And Edgar introduces him. Welcome, this is my old friend, the Duke de Essence.
Which? Duke something?
Duke de Essesseintes. Edgar's all, yeah, this buddy of mine is dabbling in the occult like I was. And seems to be quite interested in the scroll as well.
The ringer.
I would be happy to get you the scroll. I have it locked away in a bank vault at home. Well, what do they call that? Savings box?
Safe deposit box?
I have it locked in the safe deposit box. How about later tonight? We have a little thing here that we call the 7:30 Club. It's really just the three of us at this little cafe on just a few blocks down.
Psychology. Ought 8.
I got 100, right?
Double O? Yeah, super critical fail. You're terrible. You think there's gay lovers.
You are convinced they're gay lovers.
Me, the one who succeeded?
No, you have no idea. They just seem like it's a cafe.
What sort of things do you discuss there?
Not just anything, day-to-day events. It's about the same time Duke gets off from his duties. The Duke comes up to you guys, so you're new to Lausanne. Wonderful. How about I take you for a tour?
Sure, that sounds... Lausanne is where the performance of the opera singer is taking place too, right?
Actually, I made a mistake there. She's heading to Milan.
Wow.
Gotta update my notes.
Yep. Handle.
The Duke waves down a horse buggy. Yeah, come on, let's go. I'll show you the sights. It's beautiful.
What time is it of day now?
It is noonish.
Okay.
Anyway, most of Lausanne is built on sloping hills around a lake. This lake is actually Lake Geneva. Anyway, the carriage takes you up to the first site, a large cathedral on a hill. There's a 35 centimes admission, which is cents there. But the Duke covers it all for you. He practically tosses change in a little cup.
I'm amazed he even paid.
The Duke talks much about this cathedral as you're walking through it. It was built in 1235, and it took about 50, 60 years to complete. In fact, as you walk through it, you actually see a statue beside the altar of a cloaked priest, except where his two hands would be, they're just rough stone where they've been broken off.
What happened there?
Actually, we don't know. I heard it was broken during the war.
Both hands?
Yeah. It's very common in Alps. Out of character. It's actually kind of common for some statues' extremities to break off.
Yeah, didn't the Venus de Milo originally have arms?
Yes, she did.
Yep.
It's something about when you make something out of stone doing this, that's gonna get real easy.
And the problem is a lot of copies of those famous statues were done in bronze, which were melted down the first time people needed metal. No. The first statues were bronze, and then it was marble copies that the Romans made. And the marble survived because you can't really repurpose it.
Oaks is made of bronze.
Anyway, if any of you have any archaeology or architecture checks, you can make them now in relation to this building.
I have cubism.
No.
What kind of things are we looking for here exactly?
Just to notice some details of the cathedral. Maybe it's architecture.
Would mechanical repair or spot hidden work in a pinch?
I'll say spot hidden works.
Okay. Success. 49 out of 79.
You actually notice that the stone on the floor is very different than the stone of the pillars. In fact, you'd probably guess that the foundation of the cathedral itself might actually be older than the cathedral.
Are there any cars or carriages that seem to be following us during the horse-drawn tour?
None that you can tell.
Would I be able to roll spot hidden for that?
You can try.
I succeed.
You see another carriage with a young man. Same one you've seen on the train several times.
Clearly he's a spy.
You also notice $5 are missing. Anyway, the next stop is the canton.
I'm actually going to ask the Duke. Why is the floor older than the walls? They repurposed this foundation at some point?
Possibly. I don't know much about the building itself.
Is there someone who might know more? Head priest or something around? Someone we could bother with a seemingly unimportant question?
Yeah, I could go find him.
I wonder if it's possible we could wake him up. Well, it's noon. He's probably awake. Dang. I was hoping I would be more inconvenient.
He actually walks up to the altar and an elderly man in priestly robes was already talking to a few people there. And he looks up. Oh, Duke! Wonderful to see you. What brings you here? Oh, I was just giving this tour to some new people here. They seem to think that the foundation is much more older than the cathedral itself. The priest's face lights up. It's actually a wonderful historical story about it. There was actually a smaller church. Well, everything is smaller compared to the cathedral, but it was one story, it was much more spread out, and it was a very primitive stone building. And for whatever reason, some people say plague, some people say fire, it's unknown, but it was damaged, so it was torn down, and the construction of the cathedral started. And because of its construction, there was a massive boom to people coming to this city, to this town, to when it was a village. And that's what helped give it the population it now has today. In fact, if you're interested in economics, the building of cathedrals is a massive boom to any place that's looking to gain the coin from masons, architects, merchants. Because when there's people, there are things to sell to people. And a large cathedral will bring you the eye of much larger churches. And that will bring more renown, which will bring more people. And the cycle continues.
Most fascinating.
The next stop is the Cantonal Museum and Library. The Duke tosses in some coins for admission. It's different than the rest of the city. This is obviously a recent construction, but inside it's a smell of cleanness and well-organized books all over the shelves. And the Duke happily brags that the library itself actually has 120,000 volumes to its name.
Tactfully, most impressive.
Should we use a quick library check of... I mean, we're here, but there are two.
No, there's no time for that. We have to go to Le Signal. So after a short carriage ride that stops in front of a hill, he leads you up it. And the hill goes on and on. And you're pretty sure you just walked up the side of a mountain. You can see the whole town and big Geneva Lake and white-capped mountains all in the distance. And he points to those mountains and goes, see that? Right over those Alps is Italy.
That's the place that looks like a boot.
Yes, it does look like a boot.
Sand check.
The Duke makes a sand check. He twitches. Yes, the heart of our civilization looks like a boot.
Part of our civilization. How do you figure?
No, the Roman Empire came from it, of course. We have so much to thank for the Empire. It's a shame that it fell.
Psychology? Are you a million years old? 99. He's a million years old.
I'm rolling history. Obviously, I fail.
I succeed on a sand check. I think he's a million years old, but I'm okay with that.
Anyway, your next destination, the carriage stops you at Le Chat Noir.
The Black Cat? I don't think we should cross this place.
You always pay your bills, or they'll get you. Anyway, it's a very French cafe. And I'm not exaggerating when I say very French.
Is it more French than the cafe we went to in the French place?
Amazingly, yes.
It is so French, it's insulting to your sensibilities.
Well, you see, this place isn't actually French. This is made by people who think they're French.
So, French Canadians.
Yes, precisely, my lord.
Anyway, the Duke bids you farewell, hoping you enjoyed the tour. But he has some business to attend to, and he'll be back to meet with you and the others at about 8.
Thank you for a pleasant time, my darling.
I had a lovely time, except for climbing up a mountain. That I would perhaps recommend skipping on some food.
Well,
We see
everyone
a
has to
bunch
do it
of-
at least once, and now you don't have to do it again.
Everyone has to do it at least once, or we hang you.
We see a bunch of morbidly obese American family. We hear this is the must-see view. Yes, but it's really not worth it. The stairs are winding and stuff.
Sadly, there's no elevator.
Is it possible to hire a helicopter?
Did you bring your own?
Well, they don't really fly air that thin. Work it out, boy.
Anyway, you have some time to spend, about an hour or two. before the scheduled meeting at Le Chat Noir, or you could just sit there, have a meal, and wait.
So now we have some time alone. I'm just gonna call it. Inside one of those taxidermies is probably something important.
What makes you say that, Doc?
Because there's always something hidden inside a stuffed taxidermy. It's just a thing.
Look, clearly the guy with the plate in his head is dead and was stuffed by his brother and reanimated through foul magic. But other than that, that was my first thought. Just scribble that down for a future game.
It's just that if you work in a taxidermy place and you need to hide something, where would you hide it?
Safe deposit box.
Like every normal human being. Especially something so rare, he would be willing to pay what amounts to $2,000. Pounds conversion rate is a bitch.
Right, inflation.
So, we're all going to rob the safety deposit box,
I'm
right?
tempted. No. I'm tempted to go to the library, but we only have a couple of hours. I'm more tempted to go back to the taxidermy shop and hang around to make sure somebody doesn't show up and murder him. Keep some guard, as it were.
That does sound like a sound plan.
Yes, that's all. We'll need to quickly grab 3 newspapers and, try to.
Dark sunglasses and a fancy hat.
Yes.
What else is near the taxidermy shop anywhere? Is there anywhere we can sit around and not be particularly conspicuous, like a cafe or a shop or something like that? Restaurant?
The cafe's actually not that far away from the taxidermy place as it may look on the paper.
Well, I mean, the town probably has more than one cafe. I'm just asking if there's somewhere near the taxidermy shop we could keep surveillance from without drawing too much suspicion. Empty house, cafe, restaurant.
This would be some kind of search check.
Search? Stealth. Or sneak or whatever it is. Hide, I guess.
I'd definitely be it because we're hiding in one position.
Hide?
Sure.
Nope.
Yes.
If anyone's looking for me, then notice me.
See, hobos are really good at hiding in the background.
Okay.
It's like as if no one wants to see.
Social commentary.
You find a place a few houses down where you still kind of get a look at the taxidermy place.
Well, if the choice is between terrible view or being noticed, I will pick being noticed.
Okay.
Like, if I can't find a decent spot, I will actually just wander in and hang around.
Okay. So you're making your way to the taxidermy shop?
If I can't find anywhere to like, actually set up, then yeah.
Okay. You notice that the front door is open a bit.
Okay. Open the door, look in.
Sneakily? Listen? No?
Oh, sure, I'll roll listen. I don't succeed at listening.
Try listen.
I walk in.
Nope.
Action declared.
Listen.
No one comes to greet you when the bell on the door rings.
One around. Edgar?
You can either go upstairs or check the kitchen.
I will check the kitchen, I guess.
Okay. Sitting up against one of the bottom cabinets is the body of William Wellington, the brother with the plates in his head.
Oh, dead?
Yeah.
Dead.
There's a look of horror frozen in his face. There's a bloody knife lying on the floor beside his open hand. And there's another detail. His shirt's open, and a big rectangle of flesh has been carved off his chest.
Yeah, them guys again. That's what I was worried about.
Everyone make a sand check.
Higher is better?
I succeed.
You gotta roll over.
You want to
right?
roll under your current
Under.
sanity.
To succeed at any check ever, you're rolling under.
Okay then.
Those who succeed, take 1. Those who fail,
Dang it.
roll 1d6.
Oh, fuck. Is there a back door to this place?
Yes, there is.
I will quickly.
You failed, right?
No, I succeeded.
Did anybody fail?
Nope.
Okay.
I quickly head out the back and look around if I can see anyone running away or anything like that.
You don't see anyone.
Suspicious.
Should I call the cops?
Probably.
Is there a telephone anywhere inside?
Yes.
Should be. Is there blood on the phone?
Hello, police?
No signal. Well, no dial tone.
Alright. I'm gonna go call the police. You two stay here, keep an eye on the place, and don't touch anything. And you do not touch that knife. Because I know you want to.
I wasn't going to. I thought
Yes,
about
darling,
it, but I
that
wasn't
sounds like a
going
perfectly
to.
reasonable
There will be
idea.
a
Just
phone
pick
booth
up the
to
knife
walk
and maybe
away
stab the
from
body a
Cthulhu's.
few more times.
There's a phone booth down the street. You remember seeing it.
Right?
Anyway,
I pull out my Luger and keep an eye out to see if anyone might come back.
okay. What else are you doing?
Stay downstairs and peek up. Stairs.
Yeah, I'll take a peek up the stairs.
Okay. You go upstairs, and there's a door to a bedroom down the hallway, and it's open.
Right? I slowly walk inside, and then I kick the door open and wave my gun around.
You see the body of Edgar Wellington, lying flat on the bed with his arms out, dead.
And what skinny parts do they take off of him?
You don't see anything carved off him.
Oh God. Is he wearing pants?
Make a sand check.
I got all 5. Apparently I don't mind at all he's not wearing pants.
No, he is. It's just the scene of his death.
Okay.
He's not apparently skinny.
No.
So
I look at the body without touching it to see if I see any wounds or anything he might have been.
Yes, you do know. You notice that his sleeves have been rolled up,
Uh-huh.
and on his left arm are 2 needle marks, and on his right is 1
Right. Needle marks.
syringe. There is a dresser beside him that has a small, what looks like an ink bottle, but this big with a label. You have to pick it up to read what it is.
don't touch anything.
There's also
You're not there.
There's what looks
I'm
like a
conscious.
receipt as well, and in the far corner of the room, on the floor against the wall, is a small book, open as if thrown to the side.
Alright. What pages have been thrown onto?
You pick it up, and it's actually his diary.
Okay.
And as you spend time reading it,
I just wanted to see, like, you say it was thrown on the side, like, was it... So it was, like, open.
yeah, but the throwing threw it to random pages.
Oh, okay.
There may be more to find if you keep looking.
I open doors, but I don't touch anything like drawers.
Okay. While bending down to open one of the drawers in the cabinet, you actually notice there's something under the bed. It looks like a piece of rolled leather, like a scroll about yay big. And it's got a big wax seal keeping it shut.
Again, I'm not touching anything. I'm gonna go walk back downstairs and tell the hobo what happened.
Well, while you're doing this, I'm seeing if the deer he was working on is down there.
Yep. You see it.
Is it finished or?
No, it's only half stuffed. Only the front half.
Does he have to take a sand check?
No, all the gross bits have been removed.
Okay.
We're going to check to see if there's any evidence of anything hiding inside the deer.
Yep, open up the body of the deer. You think you see something, but you'd have to reach in.
I walk in to see the hobo's arm inside the deer's butt.
What are you doing?
I'm going to take the hand and pull some stuff out of the way.
You see nothing else but cotton. And whatever other material they pack and stuff.
Usually,
with.
animals are actually usually cloth batting and sand, really.
Ah, okay. Oh,
It's like rags and sand. They're sturdier than cotton.
So nothing hiding inside the deer.
Nothing.
Okay.
I mean, you're free to spend time looking through it. All the other ones if you want. But it might leave a scene.
What are you doing? There's the bad knife, man. Yeah, be sure to use the bloody knife while you do it. Just get your fingerprints good and deep on there.
That
Like your name and
proves
address,
something.
too.
Alright, okay. The hobo runs over to you and goes, I don't think I should be here. You stay watch.
You're in a crime scene. Nobody should be here.
I got a lot of knives.
Valid point. So,
yes.
what do you think about the clues he found?
Which clues?
Everything he found while up there.
Did you tell me?
Yes.
diary might contain his notes. Maybe try to, if you give it to me, I can go wander off somewhere and hide. Yeah, but seriously, I shouldn't be here.
All right, I go upstairs and bring back the diary to give to the hobo.
Okay. Do you take the receipt and the bottle as well?
Yes.
And the scroll under the bed?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to investigate any of these now, or are you going to leave?
I'm going to leave.
Okay. You have made your call, and the police are on their way.
Alright, 53 in my sneak check. I succeed.
Nobody was watching you. As you're leaving, you take a glance at the receipt, and it's actually from today, and it's for a piece of fine parchment, writing instruments, and sealing wax.
Someone's writing a letter.
Parchment ink and sealing wax?
Yes. Also, roll an archaeology check as you pick up the scroll.
No.
I did not get a 1, so
Natural history.
No.
hot 1.
You don't notice anything.
You're pretty sure it's fake.
So are you going to find a place to stay to investigate the bottle and the diary?
I'm sorry? I didn't hear that first part. Am I going to find a place to stay?
Well, assuming you already do have a place. As you
Established anywhere.
Meet back somewhere.
okay. You could meet back up at the train,
Yeah.
considering that the train you'll be leaving will be tomorrow at 6:45 a.m.
We could invite you to my first class lodgings.
Anyway, the bottle is small, it's about the size of an ink bottle, and the label on the front simply says Dream Lausanne.
Dream what?
Lausanne?
Lausanne. The name
Just
of
Dream
this.
Lausanne.
Yeah. And the diary recounts the life of Edgar Wellington. It explains the pain and anguish he's felt for every day of his life ever since coming back from the war. It also explains that he was able to translate the scroll, but he was also hoping to scam you guys, give you a fake scroll, and then leave with the money and the actual one. It also recounts how it was the Duke that got him interested in the occult and gave him the medicine that would combat his insomnia that plagues all the earlier pages of his journal, and how the medicine allowed him to go to the dream version of this city.
I'm going to go upstairs and keep an eye on the body. Because I'm wondering if that person is actually dead.
You're still in the place with the cops showing up? Didn't you leave that place?
I did.
He left.
He's planning
I'm
to watch to
staying
make sure
around.
no one messes with the crime scene.
So presumably it's him that's looking at all this stuff then.
Roll medicine.
Who?
I am.
Anybody looking at the body? Okay.
I failed.
The only member of the party who has actually looked at Edgar's body thus far.
Anyway, one thing he does
not
recount
dead.
in his diary is that he has hidden the real scroll in Dream Lausanne.
Do that?
It recounts that if he falls asleep while taking the drug and holding something, it comes with him.
Let's fail my sound check.
99.
I'm not going to let a crit fail go easy.
2.
Okay.
I look back at the ink bottle and see it says Dream on it, right?
It actually says Dream was on it. Dream City.
I'm going to go and try to find you. Where are you?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm at a phone box, and then I have walked back over to the crime scene.
Oh,
And
alright.
I'm standing outside it.
I'll just wait for the whole crime scene to resolve itself.
Do I, is there a window in his room?
Yes, but it doesn't open.
Well, like, do I see her come back?
Yes.
Alright, I go outside and tell her what's happened.
Okay.
Oh, there's a second body?
Yeah.
I walk back over to the phone box. Call the police. Call the police again and say, "Hi, me again. Yeah, the guy I had guarding the place, keep people from coming in. He poked around upstairs and he found another body.
So he stopped guarding the place and went upstairs. Is this what you're telling me?
No, there were two people. My two friends.
Okay.
One of them was guarding downstairs. The other one was looking around.
Thank you for your help on this.
All right.
Oh, I have an idea.
The police appreciate it when you update your
Yeah.
I got it.
something.
Okay, I'm going to go somewhere, hide all my knives, and then come back.
Please tell me you're dumb enough to just go to like the dumpster behind the building and just throw them all in there.
No, he's gonna throw him to the dumpster right next to the train.
No. See, I'll go to the train.
That's going to take time. By the time you get back, the cops have arrived. And they have already briefed the cops. And the cops have now cleared you of suspicion.
It's kind of hard to argue with. We were with the Duke of the town when it happened.
Alright.
I don't know why you went off to hide now, dude. We've got a pretty rock solid alibi.
9 intelligence?
That's fair. Inherent hobo cop paranoia.
Alright. I guess
I will tell the police about the fact that when we came from London, there was a body that was found skinned also while we were looking for this same scroll.
Okay.
Evidently some kind of cult.
All right.
Heinous cult.
Thank you, ma'am. We will look into this heinous crime.
Is there like the rookie officer puking in a bush?
2 rookie officers.
The rarely seen twofer.
It's the same bush, though.
It's an opposite side. Blah.
So I gave the hobo the bottle, right?
Yeah. I have the scroll, the diary, and the bottle.
It's a good thing Agnes didn't go upstairs, because otherwise she would have mentioned those things in her call to the police. Then they would have noticed they were missing. I will ask the policeman if he can keep me posted if they find out anything about these crazy cult murdering people, because they seem to be following us.
Well, absolutely. Here's our card.
I'm a little concerned.
We will do whatever we can.
Psychology. 29 out of 60. Is he not care at all?
Fucking tourists.
Jeez, you see one skinning and you just flip out over it.
You should have been here last week.
You should have been here for the summer of the Skinner. Man, half the population before we caught that guy. Prolific.
Does the diary say where in Dream Lausanne he's stored it?
No, it doesn't.
You should totally take the dream stuff, go to the Dreamlands and get eaten. It'll be awesome. Play the Dreamlands, you know you want to. Does his diary give any suggestion of a dosage for this stuff?
Teaspoon.
Alright.
Although he would inject the stuff, he had a morphine addiction as well. Drinking it is just fine. There is plenty enough in the bottle for all of you. And from what his descriptions of Dream Lausanne is it's just a crazy dream version of this city.
Well, still questionably alive. Hold on. I'm gonna roll stupid. Nah, I'm not gonna take the stuff. At least not alone.
That was good.
Part of me is wondering if the guy who overdosed on sleeping stuff is actually dead and not just, in a death-like state.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking there.
Yeah.
Was there anything in his hands?
No.
I would assume they would have disappeared when he went into the dream state.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how your crazy moon magic works.
I'm a fiction writer, darling. I know these things.
Do we have an opportunity?
I have a degree.
Do we have an opportunity to meet back up or something?
Yeah.
Or are you still busy with the police?
Well, we're all standing at a crime scene. We've talked to the police. We're basically done with that. We're probably going and finding a hotel at this point. Yeah.
Oh. Alright then.
Roll an idea check.
Minus 5%. I still succeed.
Okay. You do know that you have a room on the train, and if you are to use this thing,
That's still here.
Yes, it is. It is refitting some cars onto it and pulling them off. What you do know is that because you're not sure when you'll wake up if you do take this, it might be best to take it on the train.
Why?
Because the train will be leaving at 6:45 a.m. And if you miss it, it's gone.
I'm pretty sure if we get lost in magical, spooky dreamlands, we're screwed anyway. But sure.
Wait, so it helps. It makes you sleep. I imagine it also prevents you awake from waking up to the dosage runs out.
I'm just going to flatly suggest that he does not know that.
You don't know. All you know is
unless he wrote it in his diary.
He never mentioned how to distinctly get out of it, but since he was a frequent user of it, looks like there must have been a way out.
Alright. Is there anywhere in town we could buy a gun?
Yes.
Here I can get a nice, decent pump-action shotgun, for example.
If you have the funds, I would allow you to make purchases.
Shooting stuff. By all means, guys, carry on doing stuff.
What are you two doing?
I'm mentally debating whether or not we should use the sleeping potion.
Well, you are in need of that scroll.
Wait, he was making a forgery. Is it complete?
Considering he bought the materials today, possibly not. But even then, a forgery might not have the info on it they need.
I gave you a leather scroll, right?
Is it leather scroll?
But it's parchment, but it's like
That's what's like vellum.
yeah.
I'm assuming it's just leather
much
you
was
got
the
from
Shotgun is like depends what kind you want to get. The one I'm getting is $40, which is a double barrel top shotgun.
Ah, the old farmer shotgun.
Yeah,
Yeah, after you're done with that, I would like to look at the weapons.
yeah, I have to.
I am now mentally debating if I should go into the Dream World dual-wielding Lugers.
Do you have two Lugers?
I have one Luger. I'm thinking of buying another one.
You could go to the same gun place he's at. I mean, they kind of look at you funny when you're buying a German gun, but
Not in Switzerland. Switzerland is pretty neutral.
I don't know.
Why, yes, we do have a vast collection of guns that we've acquired.
So you're buying another Luger? Although I don't think there are dual wheel rules in this. I would allow
I'm
it.
sure there are. It says you take minus 50 to attack, and it takes 2 turns to reload.
Yeah, I think one will probably just do me.
So what are you buying?
A rifle.
So you're about to make this journey?
So I picked the all weapon, or was presence not count?
If it just says present, you can't use it.
Okay. Or will you later, so... I get it. So it says
Anything
all.
that has 1920s in the era column is acceptable, assuming he allows it, obviously.
Well, this also...
I know this 75mm field gun is.
Whoa. That's an antique piece. It's 5 years old. I ain't selling that.
1 year old.
Anyway, as you're looking that up,
I'm going to recommend either the Lee Enfield or the 30-06 bolt action. Lee Enfield would probably be very easy to find.
so you have everything set up in the cabinet. And you all have the bottle there. You may have some items clutched. Are you being specific about what you're holding? Besides the obvious firearms?
Firearms and my pack of stuff, basically.
Okay. I'll assume that if you have a bag or a backpack,
Yeah.
that it'll come with you.
I think I should probably leave my copy of those Ruins off the Ghost Train here. Just gonna leave those
That
on my
could
desk.
be a good idea.
Just gonna leave those on my desk.
Now, a very specific question. Are there things you are intentionally leaving behind?
My passport?
Okay.
My
Yeah,
typewriter.
that lost in there.
I think
Yes.
I think he's angling at, are you taking the arm with you? My only concern is if we don't, someone could break into our cabin and take it. Yes, because no one could get through a train cabin door lock.
Yeah.
That would be impossible. You'd need like a boot for that.
Like, not even
Wait,
demons
you're
can
not
get through
suggesting we
those.
all go to sleep at the same time, right?
Well, I was about to suggest someone might want to stay behind.
Yeah. Oh, everyone looks at me.
It was coincidental. I'm waiting for you to finish with the gun.
Yeah. We're not suggesting you stay behind. I don't trust you to stay behind.
How about that lovely young gentleman who's RNG?
Yeah, you could pay off the little crime lord. It's like you,
Oh,
$100
right.
bucks, you make sure nobody gets in here, and you can shoot them with this gun, dude.
I'm not giving him my gun. I'm using that.
I would assume if this is like most dreams, in order to wake up, we have to kill ourselves.
Let's assume.
Roll an idea check.
Let's assume that's not necessary until we have to test that.
Should I still roll an ID check?
No. I was just going to give a funny response if you failed.
What would be shots?
Shots is how many bullets it holds.
Bullets and guns.
Yeah, bullets and guns.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So where do you all go from here?
I think we're paying off the urchin to watch the room because that's a decent explanation of why Ember's never here.
All right.
I think the rest of us are going, and we're totally leaving the arm here.
Yep, totally leaving the arm here.
And the runes that I copied, I'm also leaving here.
You have this bottle of medicine. What are you doing?
I am going to prepare shorter doses because I don't think we want to be awake to be asleep too long. I figure smaller dose will be affected less.
I think smaller dose runs the risk of not being pulled through all the way.
Roll a medicine check.
You don't know how this works. I'm taking the teaspoon that the diary recommends.
Okay.
Alright, fine.
You take the dose, feel really drowsy, hold all your items, and close your eyes. So, one of you is asleep. What about you two?
Why is only one of us asleep?
They didn't say they were taking it yet.
Oh, they didn't? Okay.
Alright.
Sorry I misheard, because I know I took it.
Oh yeah, I know you took it.
While they took it, right, I'm going to check their pulse.
They have a pulse.
Okay.
Agnes is snoring. It is the most unladylike snoring you have ever heard.
I got my rifle. I got a box of ammo.
Is the stuff I'm
Got
holding
my
still there, or
jacket.
did it disappear?
Yes, it has.
Wait a minute. If all this stuff on me disappears, does that mean I'm asleep naked?
No.
Does that mean we show up in the Dreamlands naked?
You will find out.
Irrelevant questions.
Alright, I got my jacket and knives. I got my rifle. I got my hat. My hat is holding the special knife. The one I got in that basement of that house. You know, the one that floated around and tried to kill us.
Yeah.
You will take the medicine, and you will close your eyes, and then you open it again. And you're in the train car. And everything is a little bit darker. And all the shutters and blinds on the windows have been closed.
I'm going to try to open up one of those blinds and see if I can see what's outside.
You open it up, and it's an expanse of gray desert. No mountains, no clouds, nothing. It's sand, as far as the eye can see, and a single door standing on its own, not attached to any building, just off on a hill.
Same hill the Duke took us on?
No, it is just a small sand dune off in the distance.
Okay. I'm going to tell you now. There's a door over there. We're not going to that door.
I will try to lower the cabin.
Okay. You open it up, and it leads you into the same hallway you've walked through a few times now. But all the shutters and blinds are closed.
I will try to keep the shutter on the opposite side.
You see the same desert going on for miles and miles.
Check a couple other windows. Same thing.
Same thing.
Do I see the same door out of it?
No, only through that side of the train.
I try opening the other doors of the train.
They all open. How many of these doors are open? Are you going through other cars, or is it just this car?
Just this car.
All the other doors open. There is no one else here.
Oh, I was hoping it was going to be some weird dream stuff where I open a door and suddenly it's a completely different room.
Didn't the train have a bunch of paintings?
Everything that is part of the furniture is there. All the paintings, all the furniture, any statuettes.
I must say, this is the most boring dream I've ever had.
Let's try the exit door.
Yeah. There is an exit between cars that'll take you out into the sands and towards the door on the hill.
So this is Dream.
I'm gonna check out the other train cars though. Well, I opened a door to one of the train cars. If I open it, is there another train car there, or is that
Yes.
also green?
It is the same train car that you've seen before on your way in. This is actually the dining car.
So the whole train is here.
Looks like it.
Are the train tracks here?
You have to go out and check.
We'll go out and check.
If I walk out onto the coupling train, just look down and see if there's a train. Or are the couplings closed?
No, they're open. And you, in fact, do see tracks, but they're partially covered in sand. You actually can't see the wooden beams that would be between the tracks. It's just the metal.
So, did we take the train with us?
Seems to have
Did
come
the
with
train
us.
just disappear?
It didn't when I fell asleep.
Roll an idea check.
Does he even have to? I fell asleep first when the train didn't disappear, so no.
I failed.
Okay. You think the train did come with you.
I will.
This door is the only thing that we can see.
I will take a look through the other cars of the train to see if there's anything unusual or different about it.
Okay. You do find
Explore around.
You actually find a door that is very not the same as all the others. In fact, there's big boards and rusty nails jammed into it. In fact, the boards and the nails aren't just in the wood, they're fused with it. The actual door it is blocking doesn't seem to be a door, but more like it's painted onto the wall.
This is one of the doors, like, to one of the rooms in the cars, or is it to a separate car?
To a separate car.
Alright.
In fact,
Do I know what the car it's leading to normally is?
actually, roll a knowledge note check.
I see.
You stop for a second and do some basic math. There shouldn't be this many cars on this train. Like, you know there's like 8 or 9 cars, and this is an extra. And off in the distance, you still see that door on the hill.
Is that the only visual thing of interest in the distance?
That is the only thing in the distance. In fact, roll a spot check.
I succeed.
3.
That's a different hill. In fact, that's the other side of the train.
So there's more than one door.
No. You look back at the hill, there is no original door.
So it moved.
Bad check?
Not yet.
We're in a dream, darling. I expect weird things.
Yeah, I guess. Well, clearly you should pinch yourself and find out if you're actually dreaming.
I think the whole point of us being here is so we don't wake ourselves up.
I was really hoping he'd pinch himself, realize he thought the dream, and then have to make a stat check. Trying to bait insanity.
So this is what John is currently thinking. He shares it with all of you. Dream Lurker was not what I expected it to be.
Yeah, you know, I think this is false advertising. I was expecting, the actual city to show up, not Dream Train.
Lausanne.
Yeah, it is odd. Yes.
Maybe it's because we were on the train instead of Lausanne.
Yeah, could be.
Possibly.
Anyway, I'm gonna take a look at this here weird boarded up nailed to your door. Has it got anything written on it or marked on it or anything like that?
Nope. Just looks like it was boarded up, and that it's not actually a door.
If I take part of the door that I can actually see and try to scratch it with my nails, paint that I can scrape off.
No. But you try to scratch it off, and it's just like a little piece of wood, as if you try to scratch one of the wooden walls.
Neat. Well, let's take a look at the door on the hill before we play with that anymore.
Alright. I follow you, darling.
Hop down off the train. What's the sand like? Does it immediately open and swallow me?
No. Step onto the sand. Pick it up. It just feels like sand, but as you look deeper, it's...
I'm not looking deeper. I'm not stupid. I don't care what sand's like. All I care is that I can walk on it.
And you can walk on it just fine.
You guys can play with the sand if you want.
Come on, play with the hell sand.
It's bone.
No, it's not. But you'd have to look to find out what it is.
It's infinite fractal sand.
Dare you gaze into the sand of the dream world?
I look up at the sky.
Do you have sunglasses on?
I'm gonna try to roll a cult, see if I know anything about what this. Nope.
Hey, don't you have a cult?
I have some cult, but not enough.
Nope.
I'll try to run it at base. Actually got it.
Oh wow.
Have a vague idea what the Dreamlands are.
I
He
rolled
has
an odd
vast
3
experience in going to the dream
out
world.
of a 5.
Apparently, you've taken this kind of crazy drug maybe once before.
You think you were here once on a binge, while in the middle of the war, shell-shocked, you tried to off yourself with 3 whole bottles of wine. Didn't really work, but you were in a desert for about a few minutes, and then a thing jumped at you, and then you woke up, and you were back in the war again.
What kind of thing?
You don't remember? Some weird thing.
Freaky nightmare about Get it. But I'd walk toward the mysterious door and do it.
It just looks like a door like you'd see at the front of a house.
I'll leave a trail in the sand. Wait, we got footsteps, that doesn't matter. We have footsteps.
You aren't very far away from the
I
train.
take a look behind me. Is the train still there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We're going to be doing that pretty much every 5 seconds.
Although an interesting detail, the actual tracks it's on curve up out of the sand and do weird twirly motions. And then go off in different directions into nothing.
Oh, well, that sounds like the most dangerous roller coaster I'm never taking. Wait, do roller coasters exist in this time?
I have no idea.
Does what?
Roller coasters, do they exist at this time?
No idea.
Might be inspiration for a future fiction of yours.
Is this door in the dune locked or anything like that I can tell? Is there a bar on it? I'll open it. Unless it's got like writing on it or something that says,
No.
do not open this door under any circumstances. You tell it.
No, there is no such sign.
Alright.
You open it up, and it's like you're looking out of a house onto a street. In fact, this is Lausanne. You hear noises of people bustling about. It does look a bit older. People in a dress from maybe 50, 60 years back. The sounds of the city waft through the door. Gust of wind comes through and blows some of the sand.
Does sand do anything when it blows through the street?
Nah.
Does that just sit there? Okay. Taking a look around, like head out the door, look around. It's like a Cinnabon or something I can prop the door open with.
Yeah.
I've seen a horror movie.
I have my typewriter here, darling, just in my pack.
Why did you take that with you, you monster?
I will prop the door open with something and then head into the city.
Okay. Welcome to the dream version of Lausanne. The clouds swirl in weird patterns under a sky where there's still stars. And some of the stars move like they're shooting, and then stop, and then zigzag in different directions. And some change colors and then fade, reappear. Some aren't even stars. Sometimes there's several moons in the sky at once, and then they shrink and just become stars, or vanish entirely.
Do we see any people coming around?
Yeah, just a whole bunch of people, just going about their everyday lives.
I suggest we head for the taxidermy shop.
Yeah. Taxidermy shop.
Okay. As you make your way down, it's actually the road goes uphill a bit, and as you go up, there's a crack in the distance, and it gets wider and wider the higher you go up the hill, until it's actually a gaping chasm that goes into a ravine, and wind billows up, moaning and shrieking and pushing you back.
It's like blocking the path to the shop.
Well, this isn't actually the shopping. You can actually go around, but you are unable to go through this street.
Who's up for going around?
Well, obviously.
Okay. You go down another street, and as you go down this, you find a parade of people, all in different dress and costumes. There's one man, dressed as death, with cloak and scythe.
Is he actually a skeleton?
No, it's just a man. And another is an angel with obviously fake wings.
A little halo with a wire attached to
Yes. And there is a soldier, and a lion, and a Turk, and an assassin, and a rustic lass and lady, all walking down as bells chime from the nearby church, booming in your ears. And then the bell gets louder, rings one final time, drops silent, and the man dressed as a lion, actual wings, burst from his shoulders.
Wait, the man dressed as the lion or the angel?
The man dressed as a lion.
Why would it be the angel? Already has wings.
And he flies off. The same happens with the soldier, and he flies with them. And then the rest of the parade walks past you. And you lose sight of them around the street corner.
Well, that was fascinating.
You make your way down another street.
So it was a guy dressed as Death, an angel, a lion, a Turk, and
An assassin.
anything else?
They all had
I remain unimpressed with this dream.
expressionless, china-like faces with blue eyes. And even as they go, you can still smell the stink of incense.
These people have faces, like distinguishable faces, that you'll recognize them.
Expressionless. They all look the same. Smooth, like polished china.
Okay. So we're continuing towards the taxidermy place.
Yep.
And this street,
Ah, it's the Carcosidid.
this street is full of flowers and leaves, and sweet smell reaches your nostrils. Do any of you have any training with botany or knowledge? No, you need to roll. It's garlic.
I don't know.
Although, do roll a spot hidden.
I succeed.
The street is very bright. So bright, in fact, that if you look under all the flowers, and even under any other objects, there are no shadows.
Do we cast shadows?
What?
Do we cast shadows?
No, you don't.
Okay, it looks like we have a problem with Vashta Narada on our hands. Wait, that's multiple shadows. Sorry, never mind.
And as you turn the corner down another street, you just see an open shop window and an old lady with a huge black cauldron is stirring what looks like soup.
I'll walk over and look at the pot. Do I need to make a sand check?
Yeah, inside you see limbs and organs and body parts.
Ah, I actually fail.
1 sand point. The soup is likely steaming.
Agnes actually gives a crap.
No, I'm good, madam.
It's wonderful soup.
No, I'm quite all right, thanks.
Would any of you two like some?
I'm just gonna go.
Oh,
Come
well,
on,
more
let's
from me then.
let's leave the nice, crazy lady alone, and maybe shoot her.
Down the next street, you see a street performing magician with a top hat.
Shoot him and take his hat.
He does a quick performance, tilts his hat, and then in one deft motion, takes his right arm, slips it into the hat, all the way in, up to his elbow, and he pulls the hat away, and the arm is gone, and blood pours from the wound. Although he doesn't seem deterred by this, and then he lifts up his right leg, dips his foot into the hat, pulling it up, pulls it away, and his leg is gone.
I'm gonna stop looking at the dismembering man.
You're free to.
Yes,
Are you staying to watch, or just leaving?
I'm gonna wait until he puts his head in it, because I'm kind of curious. Does he just drop, or does he keep going?
I love this section of the book. It's basically just a chorus of feel free to let the players force themselves to make sand checks all day.
He does the same thing with his other leg, falling to the ground, and puts his head on the ground.
Me and Agnes have left at this point.
Yes. You watch as he puts his final arm in the hat and pulls away his shoulder, so that he is just a head and a body. And he laughs, and he looks to the audience and goes, Would anyone help me retrieve my limbs? It's a simple trick. You just reach into the hat and pull them back out.
I'm not stupid. I'm just gonna leave.
Well, that concludes my show then. And he just lies there, smiling.
Oh, I see.
Would anyone
your
like to help
game.
me get my limbs back by taking yours?
Oh, I see your game. Come back here,
In
you
fact,
coward.
when you left him, you reach an intersection. It's like a court square. And in the middle is a rough steel frame of a man. Kind of like Burning Man, but from the metal. With its jagged edges. Are flag-like pieces of cloth and skin hanging from it. Blowing in the wind. And from the wind blowing through the metal, you hear a singing. And even though you don't feel any emotion from it, tears are streaming from your eyes.
I take my handkerchief and dab them. The tears stop at any point?
As long as you remain in that intersection, they keep pouring.
Alright, let's get out of here. I'm getting quite dehydrated.
Yes.
I'm going to rush to my compatriots here.
Okay. You run past the figure of fleshy flags blowing in the wind. And you catch up to them as they reach another section of road where squares have been dug into the dirt. Some parts of the dirt are black, some are white.
Ah, yes.
And on each square is a townsperson holding a knife. Some in white garb and some in black. Although they don't have faces or skin. They are shaped like a face, but no real features. And one moves a few squares and then slits the throat of one of the other figures. Falls.
Okay, in chess, was that a legal move?
Does your character know how to play chess?
Counterpoint. Does anyone not know how to play chess?
Yes, it was a legal move.
You may not know how to play it well.
In fact, a figure from the other side moves, reaches a piece, slits it through, and it keeps going faster and faster until you can't even see them move. And it's now a bloodbath. And the last thing left
I'm not watching this.
is the queen, standing over the Black King, knife in her hand, over his wet, steaming corpse. And then finally, she laughs and just drags it across her own.
So, is the White King still up?
Not anymore.
Okay, now that's illegal. This is no longer actual chess.
And the body's just alive. And then you hear a bell off in the distance.
Same bell?
No, actually. But you do know it to be the bell of the cathedral you had gone to.
I thought that was the bell that we first heard.
No, actually, this is much deeper and real. You can't explain why it's different, but it feels different. And as the bell rings, you actually see all the townsfolk that are milling about getting up and all walking towards the bell.
Church summon.
In fact, the streets are empty now. In fact, the checkerboard is gone, and the corpses and the blood are gone too.
Cool. So there's nothing in the way then. Less time we're here, the happier I'm gonna be.
Alright, is anyone here with me for a brisk job, maybe?
Yes, very much so.
Alright, let's get to this taxidermy place quick.
Whatever puts more distance between me and Limb Lady, the happier I am.
Are you going to the taxidermy shop or towards the bells?
Taxidermy shop. I don't care about the bell.
Well,
The bell should be fun.
everyone's going. There might be consequences if we don't.
I have a shotgun. There's consequences if they come near me.
Alright.
Very valid point.
I have no intention of becoming part of this.
God damn it, I should have stole his hat. The limb-eating hat. I should have stole it.
Conquering the sky.
Just take it. Haha, you put it on your head. Ah, why? I didn't think that through.
There is no screaming. There is just the comforting silence
Just falls down and just falls.
and a thud. And we are all free.
Wait, he has no legs. He can't leave. Can I still see him in the distance?
Well, you'd have to go all the way back.
Quite a while ago. There was a whole chessboard and a
Maybe on
burning
our way back to
match.
the train.
Maybe. If there's time.
You make your way to the taxidermy shop, and it looks the same. Although all the wood has been built with. Looks a deeper shade of red, and old and cracked. And the boards creak as you step up to it. In fact, the front porch of the actual storefront is much larger. In fact, longer. It's like you're walking across a bridge.
A bridge.
Well, there's nothing below it,
Oh, alright.
but it's just there's more distance, a lot more distance, an unnatural amount of distance. Dimensions don't seem to be the same here.
Gotcha.
In fact, you walk forever, but you take one step and you're there by the door.
Debating knocking. Fuck that, I'm just opening the door.
You open the
Right,
door.
hold on.
Pull
Listen.
out my gun, kick it open.
Yeah, I have my shotgun out.
The bell rings, breaks off its hinge, falls, but doesn't hit the ground. It just vanishes before it hits the ground.
Just be like the Dragon Age.
Still
where
ringing,
Bad is happening everywhere.
weakly in the distance, as if it's falling forever somewhere away. And you see all the animals inside. Every single one of them is, but they're not stuffed. It's like they just took the corpses of roadkill and desiccated bodies and strung them up on stands and plaques. Bones and dried muscle poked through, flesh pulled taut around the bodies, and only holes where eyes would be. But it's all covered in dust and tiny scuttling bugs.
Okay. Is the deer still there? You know, the half-finished one?
Yes, there's quite literally half a deer there.
The deer is still there. It actually has insides trailing out. The second half of its body.
It looks like it's
It's still fresh and smells. Make a
doing
sand
this?
check.
Move it.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I succeed my sand check. I've seen roadkill before. I've eaten roadkill.
Even as it looks up at you, it's eating little eyes. And you feel the sensation of cotton against your arm, and you remember back when you jammed your arm into it. And
Jammed my arm
sandbagged.
into it. I jammed the statue arm into it.
Rooted around in it.
Yeah, you did. You just
Alright, I think it's time
When he looks at his arm that he rooted around it, it's just covered in blood.
in fact, from here you can see the door to the kitchen is open.
Oh, that is the
Alright,
kitchen.
sneak inside, sneak towards the door and take a peek through. Success in my sneak.
In there, you see one final work of art. William Wellington himself. Still in the position where you saw him. Completely bereft of flesh. Muscles still red with blood. Face still gaping in terror. Except this time, his mouth is moving. No words are coming out.
Lip reading. I don't think I have a lip reading check.
Probably be like an English check. Assuming he's speaking
Does
anything.
he speak English or French?
He is not speaking words. Some of the plates in his head are piercing through thinning hair, jutting out almost like horns. And they rust.
Well, where would you think he would hide a scroll?
Upstairs.
Probably in the bedroom where he's asleep.
Yeah, let's head up there.
You head up. Every step creaking as you do. In fact, some of them creaking even when you don't step on them. And you reach his room. And it's the same as his room was when you last saw it. Except no body. No mess. No damage. No sign of anyone being there.
I look underneath the bed.
You don't find anything.
Toss the room. See if I can find any evidence of someone having been here and then wandered off somewhere.
You find some disturbed dust, but nothing of any value. The bell still ringing in the distance.
That's gonna get annoying.
Alright, I assume we're searching throughout this entire room.
Yeah, I did that. I'm gonna search the house, see if we can find evidence of him having come here and then gone off somewhere.
I probably still have his diary with him unless we specifically left it behind. I can read it and see if there's any information.
Yeah. See if he ever mentions a specific place he went a lot in here.
No, there is no specific place in here.
We'll head back downstairs, poke around, see if we can find any evidence of where someone might have gone.
In fact, as you step down, roll a spot check.
Yes.
Hot 1. Success. Well, Captain Impale over here notices it first.
The statues are all in different positions.
Neat.
They're just there. Some of them are turned to face you, some aren't. But you know they weren't standing the way they were before.
Is William in the same position?
Yes. Although he is no longer moving. And there's a nice little plaque by his feet that says William Wellington.
Back door. Back door. Let's check the back door.
It is a normal back door.
Let's get the back door.
The back door opens into the street.
No one.
In fact, the back door keeps opening. And opens. And turns 360 degrees. And then is back in your hand. Somehow.
Neat.
That's it.
And off in the distance, you see the cathedral. The great ringing still going.
It's probably not Probably not a hit. Should just ignore
Not
that.
at all.
You should totally just ignore that. Just loaf around, wait till it wears off. Alright, we should probably take a look over there.
Yeah.
I wanted to check out the old foundation
We're in
anyway.
a dreamy type thing. Couldn't we just take one step and be there like we did that long passage to... It's like Dream Lausanne Classic or something?
Well, what are you going to do? You're free
Well, I
to
don't
mess
know
around if you
here.
want. In
I
the
don't
dream
know
world.
here. I've never been here before. I'm not sure how dream logic works.
Alright, I'm gonna head back to the front door where that big step is.
Okay.
You know, the really long passage. And just imagine that the cathedral is on the other side.
Okay.
Take a step.
You take a step.
You know, I start walking towards it.
You leave the porch.
Turns out you're not a magician.
Well, it worked.
Sorry, Perry.
Guess we
you're
gotta
not-
take the long way.
Sorry, Perry, you're in the wrong game.
Well, so much for shortcuts.
Let's head toward the cathedral then.
You join the mob of other people who are all making
I
their
am
way
not
through.
joining a mob. I am following behind a mob.
You follow the mob.
No way in hell am I joining in with their group. I am not going to get to the town square, be surrounded, and have some guy shows, alright, battle royale! Or have all the people in town suddenly turn around and try to kill me. No, not happening.
You may have just saved the party.
Following at a respectable distance.
And as you approach the chapel, you see that all of its walls are gone, but all of its supporting pillars and foundations and spires and window frames are all there. And stained glass windows. But the actual stonework itself isn't. It's a skeleton of cathedral. And between all the bits where stone should be are wooden beams, and from it hang people on nooses. Hundreds of them, just blowing in the wind. And there's a great wooden platform in the middle with a bronze, human-sized statue with broken off hands in the middle. And the crowd gathers around it as a man stands beside the statue, grotesquely bloated and faced with scars, with a mustache you've seen before, and a great cloak, and jewelry, and great mailed gauntleted fists.
Hello, Duke. Far away.
It is in fact the Duke. Or at least you think it is. It's hard to tell through the scars on his face.
Yeah, the instant he said bloated, I just instantly went Duke.
And beside him, kneeling, bound, is Edgar Wellington.
Well, bollocks.
And the Duke looks over the people.
And he immediately spots three people trailing behind.
He does look at you, smiles, looks at the rest of the crowd, and begins with a wave of his hand. Before us stands a man accused of grievous crimes. His criminal conduct in withholding what is due to us renders him our enemy, and hence he must stand trial before us as prince and protector of this realm. I appoint myself the judiciary representative of the people of Lausanne. He then giggles for a moment. And we'll see that this rogue gets his just desserts. The crowd cheers. He looks back to the crowd. Is anyone willing to take the part of the criminal in these proceedings?
Take the what?
Take the part of the criminal.
I don't know what that means.
You're not supposed to. Dreamland's illogical. He said exactly what he said. It probably doesn't make any sense to you.
I don't know what the
And who will stand to protect this man from the gallows and plead his case?
It's taken all my willpower not to just stand up and do that. That will just end terribly.
Well, it would really be helpful if I had a degree in dream law at this point, but sadly...
Edgar sees you from a distance, looks up from his bound hands. Help! Please! I'll do anything. I'll give you anything. I'll give you the real scroll. Just get me out of here, please!
How?
The Duke looks at you, off in the distance, seems to hear you say how, and shouts back, plead his case against the charges I've given. And if our jury says so, then he'll be let free. Well, our juror, to be precise. He looks over to the crowd. Who here volunteers to be the juror to preside over this case? In fact, he actually isn't looking at you. He's looking at the rest of the crowd because they're all raising their hand. They're all shouting to be the juror. And then the Duke points at one man. And this man screams and shrieks. And the rest of the crowd descends on him. And he sinks into the crowd and you can't see him anymore. And then the screaming dies down. And then one of the townsfolk walks up to the Duke, holding in his hands all of the man's skin, still dripping with his blood, and just hands it to the Duke. Roll a sand check, all of you.
If you roll exact, is that below or
Pass.
over? Okay.
Everyone who passed takes 2 sanity points. Everyone who fails is 1d6 plus 1.
How weird.
I'm going to ask if there's any consequences for what's supposed to, what was the term?
You now have to make an idea roll.
Perception or what?
I succeed. I go temporarily insane.
You see Agnes go into a screaming fit.
Oh, see what my craziness is. Do it the fun way.
What's the term? Defending or
Defendant?
no? Defendant is the person that you're defending.
Defense attorney.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to ask in the right words, which I'm failing me right now, is what is the consequences for the blank? And where blank is the word for defending this guy.
Huh?
What are the consequences for defending the guy?
You have no idea.
That's why I'm saying I'm trying to ask the guy.
Agnes faints.
I catch her.
Sleep in the dream world. Wait, no.
What does falling asleep in the dream world do?
You actually do the cliched faint. And then you just lie there and went, what just happened? You're still conscious.
Fainted, darling.
But I can't see.
Huh. Interesting.
And all you think about is skin. And you feel it. You feel it wrapped around you like clothes, and it's tight, and it's pulsing with blood. And you can't stop thinking about it. Anyway, while this happens, the Duke takes the flesh he's been given, walks over the bronze statue, and drapes it over it, mumbling chants as he does. And with the last word, all the edges of the ragged flesh seal up around it, making the statue look perfectly human. from like the knee up, except where the eyes and the mouth are. The bronze statue behind where the teeth and the eyes would be. But the eyelids blink and the mouth moves and it gapes and fish. And the Duke looks at this and tells him, "You are the overseer. Determine the guilt or innocence of the accused at the conclusion of the proceedings." And the crowd cheers. And the people part, giving you a path to the stage. And with that, we will end it there.
I've played Phoenix right. I know how these things go.
Oh, also, you all get one free check immediately, because I am backtracking to when the train stops in Switzerland.
Okay.
Everything after that point is being retconned. Basically, you guys were at the exact same point where I was reading it, which is bad if you're trying to run a story.
What most relates to the orbital ret-cannon? Let's see. I picked locksmithing.
Alright.
Because, I don't know. If there was a skill like that seemed more useless, I would totally have taken it.
So we roll now.
But it put it in brewing.
I don't know, astrology, man.
I have astronomy, though. You should totally put it in martial arts.
Oh, magic dough! Why
Figure
didn't you
out
say-
some stats for the hand, using it as a club.
It's just a club. I'm sorry.
It just doesn't break if you screw up with it.
I'm going to abuse that so hard.
Do you actually have any points in club?
Oh, I put some in last time.
Okay.
That's my free.
Of course.
Just understand that if there are people looking for the artifact, even if it is flying towards their head, they will know what it is.
I'll just cover it up with something.
Wrap it in a tarp.
God, every archaeologist in the world is screaming internally right now.
75mm field gun.
How about no?
That's a piece of artillery.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying no.
I love this up.
I take an aimed shot at the Shoggoth.
Adam Scott Clancy did a bunch of World War I Call of Cthulhu scenarios.
Okay.
And you can totally get like the 150mm naval deck gun as a skill. It won't help you.
Oh man.
Well, maybe we can just bomb the cultist hideout before they summon the...
Well, the problem is the cultist hideout is in like a Spanish peasant village full of innocent civilians.
They're
You can.
acceptable losses.
You can, but it will result in you being hanged.
If I get caught.
By the, say, 150 other members of your crew who might object to you shelling a peasant village with the gun that requires more than one person to operate. Quick, help me load this. No!
And a man hurriedly opens it up. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just stuffing an animal at the moment. Come on in. I'm Mr. Edgar Wellington.
This joke.
Anyway, as he opens the door, a big waft of cigarette smoke comes out from the door.
Nothing new, nothing new.
What's that say? Really bad. I'm okay now.
Sorry. I don't know what you're going through your head.
Nope, you will not bait me into doing it.
That's really bad.
It is.
Does it possibly have something to do with his remark about what he was doing to the animals?
It might.
And might it be what someone thinks
Let's
of?
Just the implication
Just leave it
is
there.
Anyway, as you
Let's just say I was curious why he felt he had to lock the door.
and walls upon walls of stuffed animals look down on you with little pearlescent eyes.
I have this mental image of like a teddy bear, which he stabbed and eviscerated and stuffed with sand instead of cotton. And gave it glass eyes instead of buttons.
You see, there was a...
Oh, Mr. Bear!
Yeah, you see, there was a 5-year-old.
Came in and asked you to stuff her bear. Because the cotton batting had started falling out.
Don't make a Freddy reference, please don't make a Freddy reference. Most of Lausanne is built on sloping hills around a lake. This lake is actually Lake Geneva. When he first...
Where that document that player characters constantly violate was ratified.
I figured none of you would know it.
What?
Exactly.
The Geneva
This place would
Convention.
be like.
Oh, right.
I was
That
gonna
thing
make
that tells you like not to torture prisoners of war or set other people on fire or bad chemical weapons.
Yeah, doesn't
Stuff like that.
acid arrows and stuff like that count?
Yes. Suffice to say, there were a lot of heinous things done in World War I. They decided this isn't really good for either side.
Yeah.
Can we
Stop that.
Can we just agree to not do this? Lausanne.
Lausanne. Dream
Sounds
Lausanne.
like a Chinese name, but it's not. Just think lousy? Lausanne. It's a lousy city on account of all the murder.
I'm assuming it's just leather you got from
Shotgun is like depends what kind you want to get. The one I'm getting is $40, which is a double barrel top shotgun.
Ah, the old farmer shotgun.
Yeah. Well, it's 1920. They don't have semi-auto shotguns, dude. This
Or the
12 gauge double barrel shotgun.
or the automatic combat shotguns in Fallout.
By Fallout, do you mean those actually exist?
That gun. I don't know, the shotgun fist was amazing.
Let's see. In Fallout 3, they played a sneaky person, and I would go up really, really close to people, and bats shoot your head with a shotgun. It always
So
worked.
what everyone did.
I would only bats because I couldn't aim at their head.
Sorry, I would suck at that game if I didn't abuse bats.
Yeah.
Console version, yeah. If you play on the PC, you almost never use bats for anything.
Wow.
Basically, the only time I ever use bats playing on the PC is I walk into a room and there's like 6 guys. Bats. Headshot, 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 and let's see how far we get with that. And then deal with survivors. Good, I crippled everyone's face. Alright, we're set. I liked World of Darkness has gangster style shooting listed in it, and it says if you hold a gun like this and use it, you take a -1 penalty to all attacks, and any optics installed in the gun do not function.
Do you have any bonuses to this?
There is one bonus. It says you can gain a +1 bonus to impress impressionable idiots. Like street thugs. It says you can get +1 to impress stupid street thugs.
Kind of tempted by all of this stuff. Basically, he will go in 11 shot, look really impressed.
They are out of stock.
I can't wait for the part where we get in there and there's nothing that attacks us. It was completely irrelevant.
Oh, even if that was the case, it's always good to have, a firearm with you.
I'm rolling fast talk. Hot 2 out of 73.
Fast talk to do what?
To convince whoever I'm buying a shotgun from that I'm not a criminal or a cop.
Why would they be against?
Depends who I'm buying it from.
Oh, you must be a collector. Don't worry, this is a fun. I would like to give Agnes our first insanity trophy. First blood, as it is.
Yep.
And you now have fetish human skin.
I'm gonna put a check on law for my free one. 97, yeah, that's a failure. And I get 7 points.
Yay!
Sweet. Great roll, but you only got a 2.
Yep. Hey.
You're actually rolling well this time.
Yeah. Coincidentally, it's also the session where I failed any sanity checks. Of course, it's the one with the important one.
Yeah, shit's getting real. Welcome to the Dreamlands. I hope you enjoy your stay.
I'm sure it will make me appreciate the real world all the sweeter.
I'm sure you will learn to appreciate all the horrors in the real world.
So, oddly enough, I managed to pass all my checks.
You're good going.
Well, that's really bad.
Oh. My head hurts.
Except for law.
Okay.
Yeah, 7 points in law.
Okay.
Which I have a feeling might be somewhat important in the next session.
I have a feeling it's going to be entirely irrelevant next session.
Perfectly honest, it is irrelevant, but I could say that if you roll well, you can use it to help make your case sound more convincing. I don't want to just straight out say it doesn't work, even though the book says it doesn't work.
There are no sane laws involved in this proceeding.